Well, I'm really pleased to tell you that here in New York City, veteran homelessness is steadily decreasing. We had estimated that there were more than 3,500 veterans in 2013. Now we're down to about 1,600 homeless veterans.
The first thing we began to do was work together, having small work groups. Those work groups were comprised of nonprofit organizations and government agencies. The VA played a huge part in this.
It really does take a village to end veteran homelessness. There's no way any one agency or provider can do it alone. And so we really base our efforts on that shared partnership that is vital to moving the ball forward.
We began organizing monthly meetings, sometimes weekly meetings, bi-weekly meetings, telephone calls, multiple agencies, non-government agencies, nonprofit agencies, advocacy groups getting together to help each other target the homeless veterans and pool our resources to ensure that they're accessing opportunities to get into housing.
Each individual agency seemed to realize what I needed and sent me to the place where I needed to go. Not only did I get accepted for the HUD-VASH program, but I found housing and I established employment and I moved into my new residence.
First off, we wanted to finish the job of ending street homelessness among veterans. But second, we wanted to use it as a way to better coordinate our housing and other resources here in New York City. And third, we wanted to use the Veteran Task Force as a mechanism for better coordinating our supportive services for veteran families, grantee programs, because we've been blessed with quite a wealth of resources here in the city, and we needed a way to ensure that we were using our resources as far and wide as we could to reach every homeless veteran or at-risk veteran who needed our help.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, if I didn't have a veterans homeless process to help me become a resident in my own apartment, I do believe that I would probably still be homeless. I would probably still be in the street.
This was probably the most exciting part for the consortium and the continuum of care as we worked together, because we began to really truly believe that we can get to zero.
When we came into office, I wanted to make ending homelessness a priority. We've successfully reduced homelessness in New Orleans by almost 83% since 2007. But as it relates to veterans, I know that the First Lady and Joe Biden put out a clarion call on behalf of the President and the Vice President to make sure that we honored our veterans and put them at the front of the list. And so we in New Orleans took that challenge very seriously. And on the 4th of July, we announced an initiative to try to end it by this year.
The first thing he did was bring on the city's first policy director for homeless services, along with our partners at the VA and HUD and the continuum of care and service providers. We formed a 10-year plan to end homelessness, which in a part of that effort was to set up the Interagency Council on Homelessness in the city of New Orleans. And from that, we really got put into a great position to take on this additional challenge of ending veterans homelessness by the end of the year.
The biggest step that we found early on that is really working towards our success is mainly coordinating and sharing information, breaking down the typical silos that have existed. And we are really, so everyone is contributing and working towards that goal.
It's really an extraordinary partnership. The VA has been largely responsible for the significant reductions we've seen in the past 2 years. Now, however, we're all coming together to figure out how to house the rest of the people who didn't qualify for VA housing.
We meet every week on this topic. We track it very closely, and we're feeling really good about where we're at.
We're about 3/4 of the way, I feel, from ending homelessness here in Orleans Parish or reaching the goal that we set out to do. I think every step of the process of finding a veteran on the street to getting them housed and the many steps in between have been focused on greatly. I think it's because you have this collaboration not only with the Veterans Health Administration and the city and our community partners, but by bringing in the military, you have a complete team that can take the veteran from homelessness from the street to housing very rapidly.
There's not too much you can do to really help someone who's homeless until you get them housed. Once housed, we wrap services around them, have case managers that visit them in their apartment and help them get everything they need to become stable and to achieve their highest possible level of functioning.
What we're doing here is we're designing a system that will allow us to approach this in a much more direct and focused way. And when you have everybody moving in the same direction, when you're one team, when you're one fight, when you have resources and you're connecting them to people, and you have the individuals in the middle to actually make that happen, the chances of you getting there are much better. And I feel really good about it, and I'm proud of our team because they've been getting after it.
Part of this whole process has been creating a very rapid response system so that we can rapidly house homeless veterans as we find them, so that the number of people who are homeless and veterans never exceeds the number of people we can house in a given month.
We're always going to have a new generation of veterans. So we want to be there to have a seamless transition, not only to the civilian world, but to be there and to assist them with finding housing, making it stable for them so they can stop that cycle of homelessness.
And certainly we can do this. We're the wealthiest country in the world, and there's no reason for our veterans to be wanting for anything.